Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kodash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, are two great kings, the gods that the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world in ignorance calls Christ. True name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give the belongers to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down, that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short in transit lesson, or however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. All right, and I'm not really sure what I want to title the lesson yet. Lord will the Lord to give me a title for the lesson. But the inspiration for this lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai comes from this video that the brother Arrows of Indian Nation 1442 put up, which the brother always puts up very edifying videos for the body. All right, and this one is dealing with this new plague that's on the block, or pestilence or whatever that's on the block, called the Henta virus. All right, it's like if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there are aware. Even now the mainstream is, talking about it more, so it's really picking up steam. All right, concerning this Henta virus thing, which supposedly it was a cruise ship that was, out at sea somewhere. It's been basically on lockdown, on quarantine, because the boat was infected, or the cruise ship was infected with this Henta virus, in which they're claiming that 3 people died and a number of people got ill, were sick. And now supposedly the ones that was on the ship, have returned back home or whatever. And some of them, like the video is going to say, are at military quarantine bases, or they're being monitored. All right, so it looks like Esau's about to run with the exact same playbook, to run the exact same play, I meant to say, as he did with the C-19. All right, but this time, which at the beginning of the brother's video, he played the clip with Bill Gates and his ex-wife, with him saying that the next pandemic was going to get the attention of the people. All right. And this could be the one that they run with. They floated a few out there. The bird flu, a more aggressive strand, supposedly, of the C-19. Measles, they thrown a few out there over the last few years. All right. But they could run with this one. All right. And I believe, through the spirit of power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, just speaking as a man, all right, that we're going to find out the whole rhyme and reason, all right, behind those forced inoculations, all right, the forced jab, the C-19 jab, all right. We're about to see the whole rhyme and reason behind that, because I believe they're about to activate the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towers, and a lot of people are going to become ill and drop dead. And this is all perfect timing, because on top of that, in a lot of places, you got a lot of nurses or whatever, or doctors or whatever, going on strike. All right, so you got that. The economy's in free fall. Gas is through the roof. All right, groceries, food or whatever is through the roof. Bread and water is through the roof. All right, and this would be the cherry on top, a pandemic to top it all off. All right, more justifications for this lockdown on top of the energy crisis that's coming, which really, a lot of countries are really already in an energy crisis, but it's going to be worldwide, even here in Babylon the Great. So a pestilence will be the cherry on top, all right, to justify the lockdowns, all right, or whatever. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and play some of the video. Let me get a couple of scriptures and I'm gonna wrap it up. But this is all perfect timing, man. This is all perfect timing. All right, the scriptures speak about evil days, perilous times, and they're approaching rapidly, man. All right, they're coming fast.
Echoed in a statement by the CDC's acting director, who said, quote, "The risk to the American public is very low," adding that the virus is only spread by close contact.
But they said that the same thing with the C19. And again, I believe that we're about to see the whole rhyme and reason behind the forced jabs. All right, and again, they're going to activate them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towers. All right, and you're going to see a lot of people get sick, and a lot of people give up the ghost, give up the spirit. It's like it. All right, and they'll blame it on this, but it's really the jab. All right.
With symptomatic carriers. Meanwhile, the ship's crew and passengers will be examined in Spain before being sent to their home countries. The 14 Spanish passengers on board will then quarantine in a military hospital in Madrid before being allowed to return to their communities. Other countries have said they will isolate or monitor passengers when they return home.
What the fuck do you mean that there's no cure for the Hunter virus, that it is only treatable? So there is no cure for the Hunter virus. Doctors can only...
And you can see these people are gonna eat this shit up, just like with the C19. All right, niggas like this. All right, which I don't know this lady from a can of paint. All right, but niggas like this, they're gonna eat this shit up with a silver fork, man. A silver fork, a silver knife, and a silver spoon. They're gonna eat this shit up, man. All right, and through the spirit, Lord willing, man, somehow, some way, the Lord, through these different crises that's going on right now, the MOTB is enforced. All right, the mark of the beast, which is enforced, which is the microchip technology, Lord willing. All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more.
Treat the symptoms. There is a 40% death rate, and 1 in 3 people that catch the virus will die. There is no vaccine or anything. You don't catch this virus by just touching somebody contact to contact. You can stand right next to them and breathe it in, and you can catch it that way. Rats and rodents didn't just start.
Right, so again, as you can see, the masses of these people, the majority of these people are gonna eat this shit up, man. All right. Now, this lady here, you know, she has some common sense, somewhat. All right, she goes in about, you know, rats and rodents and all that stuff have been around for some time. And if that was the case, then, you know, people all over the world would have been dropping dead left and right. Which those rodents do or can carry, you know, diseases or whatever. But, you know, again, the masses of people that eat it up, just like with the C19. All right, the lady basically, when the C19 was going on, the lady basically got on TV and told you that it was a hoax. All right. The lady said, yeah, if you get flipped or rolled up in a car, or, you know, you jump off a bridge head first, all right, into a dry riverbed, all right, and we see that you had a C19, we count that as a C19 death. That's telling you this bullshit. That was telling you right there it was bullshit, man. All right. So now you got this one, but again with this one, all right, the masses of people have been have taken the C19 jab, and again, I believe again they're gonna activate them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towers. All right, 5G towers. I just said 5G towers. All right, and you're gonna see a lot of people get sick and a lot of people give up the spirit. All right, but I'm gonna rewind it back and play Bill Gates clip.
So we, you know, we'll have to prepare for the next one. That, you know, I'd say is will get attention this time.
Right. So that's the clip of Bill Gates and his ex-wife, you know, having a sit down or whatever, or giving an interview saying, yeah, the next plague or the next, you know, pestilence or whatever, people won't be able to ignore it. All right, basically. it'll real deal get the attention of people this time. Even the naysayers, even the ones that said the C-19 was a BS. All right, this one they won't say that. All right, because again, a lot of people have gotten the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5G. It's like they gotten the vaccination. All right, and when they activate the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5G towers, all right, we're gonna see the whole rhyme and reason behind people, why they force those on people. All right, to cull half the population. All right, which that's their goal. Esau's goal, right? To maintain population under what? 500 million. All right, so that means a lot of people got to be destroyed. Which really, that's the Most High. Even though the Most High is going to eliminate a large number of people on the earth. All right, He's going to eliminate a large number of people on the earth. You know, the Lord wiping out a bunch of people, they ain't nothing to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. All right, on the flood, they killed everybody but 8 people. All right, and started over. So the Lord is going to wipe out a large number of people on the earth. 2/3 of all people that are here in Babylon and around the world that are wicked. All right, and all the different nations that are here in Babylon the Great. All right, and some around the world, but you know, some are going to have to be preserved, but they're going to have to be slaves. All right, starting with the elites of Esau, all right, or whatever, and the rest of the heathen nations that are around about us. All right, they're going to be slaves. All right, pause it real quick. Salakia. All right, Salakia, brothers. Yeah, but and the rest of the heathen will be preserved for slavery. All right, around the world. But everybody here in Babylon the Great, it's not of the elect that don't get delivered from the destruction will die. All right. Again, the 2/3 of all people in the other nations. All right, but yeah, getting real, man. Getting really real. The 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. Matter of fact, I'll start at verse 17. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? All right, and like the elders always bring out, all right, this is Ezra speaking. He's saying that who's going to deliver me in those days? They're so bad. All right, who's going to deliver me in these days? All right, even though he had found favor, but you knew he was a part of the elect, he had found favor in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's why the Lord showed him what he showed him, because he had found favor, just like our forefather Daniel. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick. This 2nd Ezra chapter 10, I'll start at verse 52. 2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 52. For I knew that the highest would show this unto thee. Right, because he had found favor in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, our forefather Esdras. All right. Why would the Lord give our prophets, the forefathers, our forefathers, the prophets, these visions, and then destroy them? That doesn't make any sense. All right. The Lord gave them these prophecies and showed them to them because they were found worthy and they were beloved by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, which made them a part of the elect. So Esdras saw these things. All right. And he said, who's going to save me from these days? All right. In the times that our forefather Israel saw, and a lot of our forefathers saw, all right, the dark and perilous times, we're living in them times. All right. We're in those times. All right. So again, 2nd Ezra chapter 10, verse 52. For I knew that the highest would show this unto thee. Therefore I command thee to go into this field where no foundation of any building was. For in this place where the highest beginneth to show his city, there can no man be able to stand. And therefore fear not, let not thy heart be affrighted, but go thy way in, and see the beauty and greatness of the building as much as thy eyes be able to see. And then shalt thou hear as much as thy ears may comprehend. Right? Because again, like the elders always says as well, you know, the Lord showed our forefathers these things, but they had no idea what they were seeing. But in the latter times, when they came back in their lot as prophets, or like the Lord said, thou shalt stand in thy lot at the end of the days, which meaning they were what? Going to come back as prophets. All right? And teach the people again with more understanding. They'll understand exactly, because back then they didn't understand. Like back then they didn't know, like, for instance, I always use this as an example. When you read Revelation 9, You know, our forefather John was explaining like the fighter jets and, you know, the gear that the soldiers were wearing in that war, as, you know, locusts and, you know, so on and so forth. He didn't know to call that a B-2 firing B-1-2 plane jet or whatever. He didn't know to call it. It was no such thing as that. So he just described it the best way he could. So they had no idea what the Lord was showing them. But they came back in these times. They know exactly, all right? They know exactly, because their eyes are clear. And, you know, how can I say it? They understand now exactly what the scriptures are speaking about, what the Lord was telling them. All right? But back then, like Elder Tahar always says, they had no idea, because most of the stuff, well, all of the stuff, all right, like the sea hip, the planes and shit like that, the guns and shit like that we have now, those things didn't exist in their time. So they just described it the best way they could. So they had no idea what they were seeing. If they did, they would have told us. They would have said, yeah, it was World War II, you know, Kaiser Wilhelm and all that. They would have said that. But they had no idea what they were seeing. But they came back in their light at the end of days, which we're in the end of days now, and now they clearly understand. They fully understand it. Like the Lord said, he would do nothing but reveal the secrets unto his servants, the prophets. All right. Verse 55 though. It's like in verse 56. And then shalt thou hear as much as thy ears may comprehend. All right. Here's the point, verse 57. For thou art blessed above many others, and art called with the highest, and so are but few. Right? Because this ain't for everybody. It's only for a few. All right. The elect is a small number. All right. So I'm gonna read it again. For thou art blessed. 2nd Ezra verse 10, verse 50, chapter 10, verse 52, verse 57. For thou art blessed above many others, and are called with the highest, so are but few. All right, so he's blessed. So he's part of the elect. Our forefather Ezra is definitely one of the members of the elect. And even he said, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. And again, those days are the times that we're living in right now. We're living in those times. Our forefathers saw. All right. Back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 18. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning. The beginning of famine and great death. All right. This energy crisis is going to help speed up the famine. All right. Due to the shortage of diesel. All right. Or no diesel, meaning no trucks get to the store. 70% of goods, including food, gets there by way of trucks, gets to the stores by way of trucks, which 2nd Ezra 16:22 says the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. All right, and that's one way that can happen. With that, on top of that, looting, panic buying, and looting. All right, which is also going to happen. The beginning of wars and power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Which evil means bad times. All right, behold, famine and plagues and tribulation and anguish are sent as a scourge for the amendment. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness or be any more mindful of the scourge. All right, but victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they should think themselves to be in good case. All right, but the scriptures again speak about plagues and pestilence. This might refer a little bit. Okay, verse 14. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. That's why I should have started. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Right? The Lord has many plagues. All right, many plagues. All right. In verse 19 again, behold, famine and plagues and tribulation and anguish has sent as a scourge for the amendment. Right? Plagues are counts as plagues are things like the C19, the bird flu, the Hanta virus or whatever. All right, or plagues. All that counts as plagues. All right, so the Lord is about to strike this place, man. All right, the Lord's about to. He's already visiting this place. He's about to visit this place, but it's about to intensify. All right, it's like it for the misreading if I misread anything. Getting ready to part now. Yeah, they can run with this one, man. He's that fucking devil. This devil here. All right, speaking on not too long ago. You're saying this one's going to get the attention of people this time. All right, which is a lot of things they're trying to distract people from. All right, well, they're really not even trying to distract them from it. They're just looking to pour it on more, make people's life more miserable. Scripture say what? When the wicked bear rule, the people more. Well, that's what it's about right now. Pricing you out of everything, making your life more miserable. And when he gets ready to bring the sea hip, the people will be so desperate, the masters will be so desperate. All right, you know, they'll just take it. All right, they'll be lining up to take it. They'll be in lines fighting, like people like Jake be in line fighting for Jordans. All right, they're gonna be lining up to get the sea hip because they want things to go back to normal, and they have no faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Like the Lord told us, take no thought for your life. All right, what ye shall eat or what ye shall wear. The Lord told us, don't worry about that. They got it. Just follow them and strive for the truth unto death, even if it costs you your life. All right. And the Lord said he'll give you a crown of life. If you're an Israelite, a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native and Seminole Indian. All right, if your bloodline goes back to those people, that royal bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to again give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and safety to you, brothers, that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.